are open, so feel free to jump in. The entire first hour, in fact, is wide open for you. So if you want to get in, this is a great time to get in. And my prediction came true. I tweeted, I know he didn't see the tweet because Wolverine Dan does not tweet, but I tweeted out on Friday or on Sunday that the surest thing that I know from a guy who, gets pretty much every prediction I make correct, the surest thing that I know was that the first thing that Coach Grizz would say to me today is Wolverine Dan on line one. And he is. So we'll get to him. There's room to get you in right behind him. 256-576-4977. 256-546-4977. You can text the show. 7329-TA-SHOW. The 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Tom Abraham Show. There's a lot of pretty good stuff there, I think. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are also on Twitch and Facebook at 97.7 ESPN, where you can watch the show as well. Our YouTube channel is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You can watch it there. And if you are watching it, you would see that I am wearing an official Sunday Red USA Ryder Cup hat that has been in mothballs since the last Ryder Cup because I was embarrassed to wear it after what happened in Europe. But I am not now, and I will wear it today in honor of the U.S.'s complete and total domination of the Ryder Cup. Only one of many dominating things that went on over the weekend. For me personally, especially. I'm just saying. Go to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and get the notification bell going so that you know that when we're on. 977ESPN.com has links to all of that. And get the app. You want that app. You want that link to Zone 2, Zone 3, all that good stuff, our alternate streaming channels. You want to do that. 576-497. What did I say? Did I not say that? I thought I said 5-6. Grizz is 546. I don't even know what the heck he's telling me. It's 576-497. In any event, Madison Academy has a huge region game at home against 6-0 Randolph Friday night. Randolph hammered Westbrook Christian 35-0 in Rainbow City on our air Friday night. Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird will have that call online and on our primary stream Friday. Thursday, Huntsville High hosts Albertville with Austin Coletti and Drew Darman. Both of those games are on air and on our primary stream. So when I say that it's a domination Monday, I mean strictly from a personal standpoint. Alabama wins by 49 points as Jamison Williams has himself a game.
Jamison Williams from a yard deep to the 10. 15-20, cuts left, up the middle. He's got running room, spun around, breaks the tackle. He's on his way. He's going to bring it back 101 yards. Touchdown, Alabama. 14 seconds and 101 yards.
He'd add to that an 83-yard kickoff return for a touchdown and an 81-yard catch for a touchdown. He's the first Alabama player in history with 2 kickoff returns for a TD. I mean, will anyone kick to him again this year? Why would you? I mean, dude is out of control. Then on Sunday, the Cleveland Browns, my Cleveland Browns, completely manhandled the Bears and Justin Fields.
4th and 10. 5-man rush. Fields. Garrett almost got him again, and now Clowney will. The Browns have 9 sacks. It's the most in a game since 2015.
I think they allowed 46 yards, which would be fitting since they were honoring the 1946 Browns with their throwback uniforms in that game. How whacked would that be? It was the greatest performance in the history of Cleveland Browns defensively, and it was the worst performance for the Chicago Bears offensively in, I don't know, they said how many years, 30, 40 years, something like that. It was an absolute nightmare. Remember what I told you about Justin Fields? He did not seem very mobile to me. He did not seem very willing to take off and do some damage with his legs. I feared that. He did nothing. Can't throw the ball. I told you I didn't like this pick from the beginning. I got in a big fight with a bunch of Bears fans who had posted this video of him dropping a dime in a 7-on-7 drill in camp, in OTAs. And he like pretty much overthrew the guy. And I'm like, that's a dime in 7-on-7? Every pass should be a dime in 7-on-7. And they like attacked me, called me a hater. He needs to be in there. He should have been in there. Look, there have been guys that have had awful first games and then gone on to have great careers. I mean, I can't think of any that have had a game that bad. Peyton Manning did lead the NFL in interceptions as a rookie. So maybe there's that. Completing the domination. The Braves went into San Diego and swept the Padres. And you know what? It's a good thing because the Phillies are winning as well. So Atlanta begins the final week of the regular season with a 2.5-game lead over the Phils, who are in Atlanta for 3 games beginning tomorrow night. I mean, it would probably be better if those games were in Philadelphia because the Braves somehow are 46-35 on the road. They're 11 games over 500 on the road, and they're just 37-37 at home. And the final 6 games are at Truist Park. The Yankees, my Yankees, went into Fenway and swept the Red Sox. The domination continues. Giancarlo Stanton had himself a month with 3 homers and 10 RBI. There are only 3 other Yankees that have had 3 homers and 10 RBI in a 3-game series against the Red Sox. Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, and Babe Ruth. If you're on a list with Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, and Babe Ruth, it's probably not bad. It's probably not bad. It's a pretty good list to be on. The Yankees now take over the top spot in the American League wild card with 5 teams within 3 games, including the Blue Jays, who are 2 back of New York and 1 back of the Red Sox. And the Yankees now go up there to Toronto for 3 beginning tomorrow night. And they finish with the Rays at home. In the meantime, the Red Sox are playing the Orioles and the Nationals. So they actually have a better shot at the top spot than New York, according to the stats at ESPN. They got 87% to 81%. But in all likelihood, barring a complete collapse, it looks like we are headed for 1978 again. A Yankees Red Sox 1-game playoff in the wild card game. Question is, where will that game be played? That'll be sorted out this week. Going to be a great final week of baseball. On top of all of that, the U.S. absolutely hammered the Euros in the Ryder Cup 19-9. It's the biggest beatdown ever. And with 6 rookies on this team, this may signal a new day. I mean, the U.S. could win this deal for the next 5 cups. I'm talking about 10 years. They might win for the next 10 years. It's about damn time. It's got me wearing my Sunday red USA hat today. And just to complete the total domination of the weekend and beat the big dog, I mean, facts are stubborn things. I'm not sitting here tooting my own horn, but I got to tell you what it is. I gave you LSU minus 2.5 against State. They won by 3. State almost backdoor covered them. I gave you Arkansas plus 4.5 against A&M. They won outright. I gave you the Gators minus 19.5 against Tennessee. Florida chipped a late one in to cover. Late to cover. I gave you Notre Dame outright against Wisconsin. They were getting 6.5. I gave you the Titans and laid 5.5 against the Colts. Total stranglehold on the division now for the 2-1 Titans, if that's possible. Does anyone else in the division have a win? No. And I gave you the Browns minus 6.5. And then for good measure, just because Grumpy asked about Illinois getting, at the time, 13.5, it went down to 11.5, because I think the odds makers must have heard my commentary on it. Just for good measure, I gave you a thought on that one.
You took Illinois and against Purdue?
With 13.5 points?
They lost to Texas San Antonio.
They beat Nebraska week 1, okay?
Ooh.
Well,
Nebraska is god-awful.
Oh, yeah, Nebraska's so bad that they went to Norman, Oklahoma.
Tulane went to Norman, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's the number 2 team in the country. Number 3 team in the country. So the number 3 team in the country, they went there as a 22-point dog and lost by 7. Okay? So they beat Nebraska 30-22 in the first game. And then somehow, inexplicably, they lost that game to Texas San Antonio. Who the hell knows why? Okay? I mean, who knows why?
And they lost a close one against Maryland.
They covered against Maryland. They were a 7-point dog in that game against Maryland, and they covered the spread. So that's a win in the betting parlance. That would be a win. And now they're getting 13.5 against Purdue at Purdue. And Purdue's coming off an emotional loss to Notre Dame.
This is that under 18-point range. This is where you feel comfortable betting on the team that is a double-digit dog.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't hate Illinois.
I know
in this spot.
I mean, I'm probably gonna look like an idiot tomorrow
at Purdue.
Who knows?
I'm just saying.
It's not hard.
Write that down. Wait, what time is it? Right, 11:38.
We gotta go.
Yeah, we got to get to break. 11:38 on Football Friday, the 24th. Write it down, cut it out, and on Monday we'll see how this game turned out. And you can either rip me with my own audio, or we can make me look like the the handicapper that I am.
You're doing it pretty good so far, so
I'd say. With the 6-0, I still have my Bad Daddy's Burger Bar gift certificate. Had it for a month now. Now look, Sean did pretty good. He went 4-2. And for the season, I am now 18-6 against the spread. You guys are 9-15. So the gap is widening. The gap is not closing, but it is widening. But it could have been a lot worse. As for the Friday trifecta, Badger Larry and Kramer got on the big board with 1 point, but both had Wisconsin in the tiebreaker. So no Chappie's chicken this week. Second week in a row. No Champies. We'll do $75 worth of Champies. There was no Champies last week. Remember, I was going to do 50 this week. Next week, this upcoming Football Friday, we're going to do $75 worth of Champies chicken. I'm carrying it over. By the way, speaking of Champies chicken, did you see they had a fire down there? It was part of that arson spree. Some idiot set 10 fires over Friday and Saturday nights. They got the guy, allegedly. Now, at Champies, my buddy Eugene Chung, the owner there, he got the fire out. There was a kid from Bob Jones High School, just graduated, that works there that was thinking fast. He ran out in the parking lot with his phone and literally took video of the guy pulling away and got the guy's license plate while Eugene Chung grabbed the fire extinguisher. The fire was in the men's room and put the fire out in seconds. They are open. I mean, you saw fire at Champies, you might have been thinking what I was thinking, right? Like, what the hell? Are just Champies shut down? No. Champies is open for business. No disruption. They never even closed at night. Fully operational. Coming up on the show today, top of 11, Tom Luginbill of ESPN is back. Lugs was on that Texas 70-35 game against Texas Tech. He gets the Longhorns again this week against TCU, who lost to SMU on Saturday. We'll get his take on a pretty good SEC weekend this week. I mean, you're talking about Alabama, Ole Miss, and Tuscaloosa. I cannot believe the line in that game. I think it's fake news. Auburn at LSU with who knows who at quarterback. Get into that as well. How about Arkansas at Georgia? How about those Hogs, man? That ought to be a slobber knocker. After Tom, Justin Ferguson is back from the Auburn Observer. That ought to be insightful. What a mess. After a great game against Penn State, they do that against Georgia State? I mean, are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. And Bo Nix gets benched. I don't see how there's any way they don't start TJ Finley this week. We don't know yet. He'll speak to the media today to Brian Harsin. I don't know if he'll tell us. I don't know how TJ Finley does not start against LSU. Back in that little glass room playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones, and got to be a little bit out of his gourd, not only for his beloved Brace, but how about the Atlanta Falcons with the last-second field goal, 1 of 3. Yes, I will get to the Lions situation. But how about the Falcons getting a win against the Giants? It's Coach Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grizz played sports. Grizz, what a incredible weekend of dominating performances this past weekend.
Oh, Sunday was amazing. There was actually 4 technically game-winning field goals because the Las Vegas game at the end of overtime,
that's
Daniel
right,
Carlson won the game just by the field goal alone. So there was 4. So you had 4. You had 109 return kickoff on a field goal. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, you had such,
and they still couldn't win the game.
and they still couldn't win the game. I mean, that team is awful. But I think it was just a great weekend of football alone. I mean, I don't think I walked away from the television all Sunday. I think this is like the first Sunday I don't even think I've like gone up and done anything. Just sat down, watched every game.
11
that
hours.
Was on. Yeah,
I did 11 hours yesterday in the chair, and that was after my wife and I went out to the garage early. I mean, we did church early. Literally, we did church. We did church on a virtual. We did the virtual thing with the church at 7:30 on the front porch, and then at 8:30 we were in the garage in the wood shop in the wood shop and working on that project I was telling you about last week.
Yeah.
So we were working on that project, and she was so understanding because we were making our last cuts. I'm just right now just cutting everything, and she measures everything. And I'm cutting everything for this wall unit I'm making for her. And she was like, all right, you got time for one more cut. She was telling me how much, because she knew the Browns game was at noon. And already my sons were assembling, in the TV room. And so at about 11:52, we made our last cut. I went in the house, took a quick shower. I was in the chair at 12:02. All right? It did not get up until 11 hours later. Well, I mean, I might have got up once or twice for a birthday break or a bathroom break or something like that. Honest to God, I mean, I was right to it because that game last night. I mean, what about that friggin' game last night with the
Jorquez to hold it. Crosby to try to win it. And the kick is good to win the game. The 49ers couldn't take enough time off the clock at the end. All Aaron needed was 37 seconds.
And no timeouts. Sparkman is a 49er fan. And he had tweeted, he said, Jimmy Garoppolo has a minute and 56 seconds to convince people why he should be the quarterback of the 49ers. So then when they scored, I tweeted back at him. I said, and he just did. But they left too much time on the clock. And he retweeted back to me. He said, no timeouts. And then 37 seconds later, I retweeted back to him. Uh-huh. I mean, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are back in the mix now. I mean, they got to be back in the mix. It was just an absolute crazy, crazy day.
There's only 2 quarterbacks that can even do that in the league, I think, ever, it feels like. And that's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. I mean, guys that can take over. I mean, they can just literally take over with very little time, can come back, win the game. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It shows you how it would just been awesome to see more matchups between those two throughout their career, and we got such little.
I almost think in that situation that I like Aaron a little bit more than Brady. In that, because Brady leads a lot. You know what I mean? In that situation, Aaron, man, just absolutely out of control. Now, you know who might someday be that guy is Mac Jones. You know, he may someday be a guy. We'll see. Of course, next week, all the talk in the NFL this week is going to be about Brady going back, to New England. It's the Sunday night game. Mac Jones did not have a great game.
Right.
He threw the 3 interceptions, 2 of which were tipped, were not his fault at all.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick was very forthcoming after the game in talking about the interceptions and talking about Mac Jones' play. Belichick, uncanny how open he was about it.
Bill, what did you see on Mac's interceptions?
Where are we? Well, probably the same thing you saw.
Hey, but here's the thing about that game. It's like it wasn't Mac's fault. He was the leading rusher. You know what I mean? In that game,
well, actually,
they were awful. I mean, the Patriots were absolutely awful in that game at home. So Mac Jones tried all he could in that game.
Yeah, and I don't know what was going on at the end there.
Yeah,
when they grabbed him by the wrist, when Belichick grabbed Mac Jones. Mac Jones was going out onto the field to shake hands with the other guys.
No,
and Belichick grabbed him by the wrist and dragged him into the locker room.
He probably did that to Brady a couple times. We just never seen it.
God. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's get a break, and because I want to give Wolverine Dan some room. He needs some room. He needs a Valium, is what he needs. I can't tell you how the Detroit Lions got one of the ultimate screw jobs by not only the refs, but by fate. NFL fate and the refs conspired against the Detroit Lions. And as a Browns fan, I feel like I can feel their pain. But I think it's even worse. I think for the Lions, it's even worse. We'll explain next. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luginbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Bob Baumhauer and 97.7 ESPN The Zone have teamed up to bring you a huge opportunity this fall.
Each week, come on down to Baumhauer's during the drive on Thursdays between 5 and 7 and register to win a Lunch Bunch gift certificate for 6 to Baumhauer's. But wait, there's more. Each weekly winner will then be placed into a drawing for Bob's tickets to the LSU-Alabama game in Tuscaloosa, complete with an invitation to Bob's exclusive pregame party at Baumhauer's Tent on the Quad. Stay tuned to 97.7 ESPN The Zone for other opportunities to sign up and win Bob's tickets.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect another day full of sunshine. High temperatures will top out in the low to mid 80s for the afternoon. It'll be another dry afternoon as well. For your Monday night, expect a mostly clear sky. Low temperatures falling to around 60 degrees for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Back, Tom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. For all your service needs, it's Woody Anderson Ford, an outstanding service department at Woody Anderson Ford. Collision shop is great, too. Inventory is starting to pick up. Pre-owned inventory is amazing down there. Certified pre-owned. I bought a 2019 F-150 from down there, and when I brought it home, my wife said, I thought you were looking at pre-owned. I didn't think you were buying brand new. I said, honey, this thing it's got 30,000 miles on it. She goes, it looks like absolute brand new. So that's the way to take care of them down there. Check out Woody Anderson Ford, Woody Anderson of Madison. I had a vested interest in the Detroit, not a money interest, but a vested interest in the Detroit-Baltimore game because I hate the Ravens, and they're in a division with the Browns. And I wanted to see the Ravens get tacked with a loss. Every loss for the Ravens is good as far as I'm concerned. And Detroit played feisty football. Their coach was ready to bite somebody's knee off or break somebody's leg or whatever it is that they do, bite your face. And Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are driving to try and set up a late field goal to win. And they have a third down play. And I don't know, 42-yard line, something like that. And the clock runs out. The play clock runs out. I mean, it hits zero. And we're all watching it, and all of my sons and I were like, delay again! I mean, it wasn't like zero, ball gets snapped. It was like 0, -1, -2, ball gets snapped. I don't know what in God's name the back judge was looking at, and I don't know why that's not reviewable. Because that is a critical play, and it's not reviewable. And Justin Tucker is not hitting a 71-yard field goal. So now Detroit's been screwed. But it's okay, because it's a 66-yard field goal. I mean, the record is 64. Nobody hits a 66. It's in a dome. There's no wind behind him. He can't make it from 66.
A 66-yard field goal try for Justin Tucker. It would be the longest in NFL history if it's good. A 66-yard try. Tucker's kick is on the way. It is
good!
Off the crossbar, and it tumbles through. It is good! Time has expired. Justin Tucker with the longest field goal in NFL history. The hay is in the barn, and it's mayhem on the field.
The ball hits the crossbar, and it had to bounce 10 yards in the air. It goes straight up in the air 10 yards and falls over the crossbar. The football gods hate the Lions. I mean, it's the only explanation. And the Lions announcers?
Tucker's ready. There's the snap. Spot down. Kick on the way. It is up, and it is off the crossbar and through. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? Justin Tucker from 66 hit the crossbar, and it bounced through. And the Ravens are celebrating on the field. The longest field goal in the history of the NFL has just beaten the Detroit Lions.
Are you kidding me? It's like every Detroit Lion fan ever. Are you kidding me?
He is the best kicker in the league.
Ever. I think he's the best kicker ever.
Yeah, that's what I was probably going to ask you. I was going to ask you that right before that. I didn't want to, but I was like, he's probably going to be the best kicker
I think he's the best kicker ever. I think he's the best kicker ever. He has made 50 straight field goals in the fourth quarter or overtime. The Lions someday, after I'm dead and Wolverine Dan is dead and Keith the Michigan fan is dead, someday the Lions are going to win like 4 straight Super Bowls. I mean, they are owed.
Be like 105. You won't know what's going on, but they'll win.
Be drooling. Wolverine Dan will have like drool dripping down his face. Wolverine Ginger will be like, look, Dan, the Lions won. His great-grandchildren, Chad, Wolverine Chad's grandchildren.
They've got children.
Will be like, look, Grandpa, look, the Lions won the Super Bowl. What a friggin' nightmare. Wolverine Dan. I feel for you, man. I thought Rutgers was going to upset Michigan, and then I started thinking about then when it happened on Sunday, I was like, oh, my God, this guy's got to be – I was going to check on you, but I didn't want to. How you doing, man?
I love you like a brother. You know that.
I was going to check on you. I didn't talk about that.
Well, you don't have to check on me. I'm a tough guy, okay? All right, so, let's talk real quick. How many times have you moved in your lifetime with your family? How many? A lot of moves. Is it a dozen?
Probably, yeah. Probably at least a dozen, I'd say. A little more. In 40 years, yeah, I'd say a dozen. Probably 15 times in 40 years I've moved. A lot of times within the market, but yes, about 40 times, or about 15 times in 40 years.
Well, after 24 years, I'm moving from Madison.
Get out of here.
And you know something? This is killing me. It's literally killing me. My clothes don't fit anymore, Tom. I'm shedding weight like crazy. I can't eat. I'm losing it, man.
Why can't you eat?
Because I'm so freaking upset. All right, now I'm going through all my stuff.
About moving? Well, then why are you moving? You don't have to move. Why are you moving?
Dude, it's the right move to make. Trust me. There's a lot of reasons why. There's personal stuff I can't get on here, but there's a lot of people looking out for me, and they love me. I get it. But you know
where are you moving to?
Huntsville.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
yeah. So you're just moving from Madison to Huntsville. Okay.
Yeah, so here's the deal. There's a lot of people love me and they're trying to do nice to me. I appreciate that big time. Now, with that said, all this going on right now, I'm going through all my stuff, and this is a major stuff for me. I've never done it twice. So anyway, then all this other crap goes on my freaking shoulders. All right, let's start out with the Michigan game. I'm not even going to say the way I always like to say Michigan because I'm upset. He's doing this again. He's playing this quarterback because he's loyalty. And McCaffrey is the better quarterback. Rutgers, the whole line, they crammed the line, and they stopped our run, And that's what's going to happen to every other team that's a lot better at us now, because now we're in the meat of the schedule. And McNamara can't hit water if he's in the ocean on a boat. That's the problem I have here with the Michigan Wolverines. Come on, Jimbo. This is your last year. You're going to screw it up again. You know what? Sometimes I almost wish you would, so you can go. Look at the Arkansas coach. 2 years, and look where they're at right now.
Yeah.
You've had 6 years, Jim. That's enough, okay? You're killing me.
But you got Wisconsin, who just got beat by Notre Dame. You look at that game is going to be a slobber knocker. I mean, that is going to be a low-scoring defensive Big Ten matchup. It's at Wisconsin, so I don't know what beating Wisconsin's worth right now, but
okay. So let's move on from that. Let's talk about my Detroit Lions. Boy, have mercy. The last record field goal was Jack Dempsey with a club foot and a mangled hand. He don't even have a hand. And he kicked it 63 yards against who?
Detroit, 1971. But that record had been broken. Justin Tucker had hit a 64-yarder. So the record was 64 now. Dempsey had that record for a long time. But a few years ago, Justin Tucker hit a 64-yarder.
And then you got this Goomba, kicks this field goal, and instead of bouncing back, it bounced forward 20 feet in the air, 66 yards, and here we go.
Yeah.
Against who? Detroit. Don't forget, several years ago, I'm going to have a heart attack. Sorry, several years ago, Calvin Johnson. How about that touchdown in the Chicago end zone where he was on his butt with the ball in his hand, and he said it wasn't a touchdown? How many times can we get screwed over? I'm telling you, Tom, this is getting out of hand here.
And who was there? What were they doing? They honored Calvin Johnson yesterday. That was it was Calvin Johnson Day. And they had Calvin Johnson in the stadium. They introduced the owner, the Ford lady, that was like the granddaughter of the Ford people. They introduced her, and the fans booed her because the team has been so bad for so long. They booed her. They cheered Calvin Johnson, and he was there in the building, and sure enough, the Lions get the shaft again. I'm telling you, football guys hate the Lions.
Hey. You're right. They booed the daughter of William Clay Ford. Mama's still around, but she's mummified somewhere. She's just right. She's the two banana peels slipping, right?
Right.
But you know what? You're right. The same thing every year, and that's why they boo him. Just like they boo, you know who? Joe, you know who, that can't even climb up a freaking stairs to an oh my God, I'm so upset. The airplane, okay? So we say, that's exactly like stumbling, bumbling. And people boo him and they boo my team. Yeah, you know why? Because they deserve it. Tom, I know this is a rebuilding year. I shouldn't get too upset. I think we're in the right direction. This coach seems like a good coach, and we've got a good general manager.
Yeah.
A lot of draft choices, a lot of first-rounders coming that could solve the problem. I get that. But Lord have mercy. This is killing me, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, that was just bad. I've lived through some.
Smoke and a cup of coffee, or what do I need? I got to relax.
Not coffee, probably something Valium or something like that. I have lived through some really, really, really bad losses with the Browns. I had a game when the Browns were playing the Steelers, and they blocked the field goal to win the game, but they blocked the field goal. It never went over the line of scrimmage, and it was third down, and the Steelers recovered it, and they were allowed to kick it again, and they kicked it and won the game. I've had games like that. But what I saw yesterday, and it's not just the field, forget the field goal for a second. I don't know if you were actually watching the game or if you saw the discussion afterwards, but that clock was out. I mean, that play, it was delay of game. That ball should have been backed up 5 more yards. And I cannot believe that they let 2 seconds go past the zeros and let them get the ball off without a delay of game penalty. That was just horrific.
Well, I appreciate your love for me, and I know you were worried about me. I got it off my chest. I'm a little upset right now.
Let me ask you this. Are you moving into a house, or are you moving into a condo or something like that?
No. We were going to do a condo, but it's in the medical district, and it's
nice.
A house. Moving in the house.
An older house? Medical district? Is it like an older?
It is, but it's the inside's all redone. It's
nice.
Beautiful. And then I'm going to the backyard. It's got a shed back there that I'm going to take there's 3 parts of it. I'm going to take the 2 off in the back, and the front's really solid. I'll add it back to that one and then make it like it was before. But if you look in the backyard, Tom, you could step into that backyard right now. It's a blank canvas, a lot of trees, and it looks like a little shed you would see in Ireland.
Nice. Well, I'm happy for you. I mean, we live in I can't wait to see it. We live in a historic house in a historic area, and I think it's really cool. I mean, I think you'll enjoy that place.
I got, and again, before I walk away from the phone here, there's people that love me, and they're taking care of me, and we're doing the right thing. But damn it, Tom, this is a lot of pressure, dude, for me.
Yeah.
It's been 24 years, dude. It's a lot.
But you want to do it, so I mean that's where you got to think of it. It's like
think
about the upside, not the downside. Not to think about where you're going. Don't think about where you've been. You never look over your shoulder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you, brother. Okay, all right. I'm gonna give me a quarter in a fountain or something.
There you go. We'll throw a quarter in a fountain. All right, brother.
Yeah. Bye.
That game's a pick'em, Grizz. That game opened at Wisconsin was a 4-point favorite. Then Michigan became a 1-point favorite. And then Wisconsin became a half-point favorite. And right now, that game is Wisconsin a half, Michigan a 1 at different places. It's basically a pick'em game. And I don't know if I can get it into the, it'll be in Beat the Big Dog. I don't know if I can get it into the trifecta with those games that we got in the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the games in the SEC. You got Alabama, Ole Miss is the game of the week everywhere.
I can't bet on Wisconsin. I just can't. Not until the end of the year. I messed up last week.
I don't know if I can bet on Michigan. But you got that game. You got the Arkansas-Georgia game is massive. Arkansas, look at Arkansas in the top 10 now.
Yeah.
You got, great interest in the LSU-Auburn game, which is like a 3.5, 4-point deal. So we got that game. Not to mention, Florida and Kentucky. Does Florida stub their toe up there against Kentucky? I mean, it's a big weekend of college football. Big way. Cincinnati, Notre Dame, both teams unbeaten. It's a big weekend. Badger Larry, unhappy on Saturday night, happy on Sunday night. Badger Larry, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm actually great, Tommy. It was a glorious, glorious weekend to watch the Ryder Cup.
Wasn't that fantastic?
That was my focus of the weekend in my homeland. They did. I'm proud of my fans and Coach Stricker. I mean, he's always been one of my favorites.
Wisconsin guy winning it on Wisconsin. Yeah. And let me tell you something. Stop me if I'm lying. They may win the rest of them for in our lifetime. I mean, that team is so young, and Europe looks so old. And I don't know who the next wave of Europe players are, but our team, like I think everybody except for a couple were under 30. I think 10 of the 12 guys are under 30. I think our team wins this thing for like when we were young, they used to dominate it. It wasn't even, you didn't even watch it because the U.S. always won. And then the Euros started winning and it became a big rivalry. But I think that we are going to win this thing for the next several years.
I definitely agree. And they showed out. They showed out great, and that course looked beautiful, and the fans were great. And I mean, Thomas and Berger shotgunning beers at the first tee. That's Wisconsin all the way right there, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty good.
But let me tell you something. Your Badgers picked the wrong quarterback. I mean,
no doubt.
They kept the wrong guy. They should have let Mertz transfer, and they should have kept Jack Cohn, even though he got hurt.
No doubt about it. Here's the deal. Mertz was the highest rated quarterback we've ever recruited to Wisconsin. He was a 4-star. I mean, he was like the 5th best quarterback in the nation and all that. I mean, he's terrible. And, here's the deal. I mean, you look at the score and you think, oh, they got blown out. Well, look at the stats. We got a prime-time defense with no quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Notre Dame pulled away late.
10 in the fourth quarter.
Right. Yeah, Notre Dame pulls away late in that game. It's just like, it's just like any Auburn game. Really it looks, 10-point win, but really they got through by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, the quarterback threw more touchdowns to Notre Dame than he did to our side. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's the way it goes. So, I mean, I don't look – and the play call is terrible. We get down to the red zone. He runs it up the middle every time. So, I mean, we should have been up by 2 touchdowns before the fourth quarter. I mean,
yeah. I love Jim Leonard, though. I mean, I like Jim Leonard a lot. You got something there,
I'm
but man,
hoping that he takes over. That's what I'm hoping for him to take over
and hires a dynamic offensive coordinator. Yeah.
If they don't swap quarterbacks, there's already pressure to get rid of Chris. So it's not good up there. But how about the game last night?
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely. And it was so cool to see Aaron Rodgers was so into it. Any thought that he was just kind of like bagging it or whatever is garbage. He was so into it and so emotional. I don't know if you watched the postgame. I watched the postgame. When they were interviewing him and he was talking about Crosby, his eyes welled up. I mean, he was literally that emotional.
Yeah. They're best friends and sit together on the plane and everything else. But, the other thing is, there was some horrible officiating in that game. My God. They gave him a touchdown at the end of the first half. That was clear. My boys were going, "What are you talking about?" I said, "That was grounding. That game, the half's over." And they didn't even talk about it until after, the coach was out there jawing at him at the halftime.
I didn't know if it was tuck rule or what that was, Yeah,
he was definitely he was in the grass going down. He just threw it down at the feet. Never got past the line of scrimmage. So they gave him 7 right there. And then they kept him in it with some bogus calls in the second half too. So
they hit on Davante Adams. My God, are you kidding me? And look, I love Jimmy Garoppolo, and if it wasn't the Packers, I'd have been pulling for the 49ers. But Jimmy Garoppolo gets literally bumped into. They call roughing the quarterback on that deal, and then Davante Adams damn near gets killed. Literally speared in the head in midair, knocked out. The dude was out before he hit the ground. I can't believe they let him go back in that game. And they don't call anything. And I'm like, whoa. Now, in college, they just stopped it and called it from upstairs. But I don't know what the hell those officials were looking at there.
I don't know either. It was horrible. They kept them going to get back in the game. It's like they would throw a flag every time, third and long or whatever. To get them down the field, then when that happens, nothing. I'm going, are you kidding me? I was about ready to have a heart attack. But
all right, let me get Keith in here quick. I appreciate you, man. Keith's gone. All right. Well, good stuff by you, Bachelor. Big game this week with Michigan. Anyway, so that'll get some attention. Bachelor and Wolverine Dan getting in. All right, keep the Michigan fans gone, and we are too. We'll come back. Final segment of the first hour next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
Current Super Bowl odds as we come to the end of Week 3. The Bucs, the current favorite, despite a loss Sunday to the Rams, plus 450. The Chiefs at plus 500. The Bucs, Rams, and 49ers each at plus 1100. A week from Saturday, the trilogy fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. The two fought to a draw the first time. Then in February of last year, Fury won the second fight. He comes into this one a minus 325 favorite. Wilder at plus 230. Monday Night Football, the Cowboys hosting the NFC East rival Eagles. Dallas the favorite at home by 3 points. The money line for the Cowboys at minus 175. The Eagles at plus 155. The over-under 51.5.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
Sitting here with Ann Adams of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate. Is it a good time to sell your home, Ann?
Yes, it is. We have people relocating from all over the country.
Why should we choose Rise Real Estate?
Well, we've been selling real estate in North Alabama for 36 years and have sold more real estate than any other real estate company, period.
Do you help your customers through the entire process?
Yes, our agents are with you during the whole process from start to finish, from beginning to end.
In your relocation services, you have a whole team.
Yes, we have a dedicated relocation department helping customers move seamlessly into the area.
Ann Adams has been writing contracts for the last 36 years. She has the experience to help you list and sell your home, downsize your home, or help pick the perfect spot north of Alabama for you to build a future.
Call Ann Adams at 256-337-2625 or on the web at www.bhhsriserealestate.com.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell, because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
I got rice cooking in the microwave. Got a 3-day beard I don't plan to shave. And it's a goofy thing, but I just gotta say, hey, I'm a doing alright. Yeah, I think I'm making
an NFL story. And, on Mondays, we leave the first hour of the show wide open for your reaction to everything. And of course, the Ryder Cup was fantastic, the college football and the NFL stuff. But if you're going to react to the NFL, that happened one day ago. And then in hour number 2, we always have Tom Luginbill. We're going to do all college football with him. And then we have another college football related interview, which today will be Justin Ferguson off of what happened with Auburn. So we know that hour 2 is always going to be dominated by all the college stories that are out there. So we kind of react immediately to what we saw yesterday and last night in the NFL. And what happened in that game in Detroit is bigger than Detroit. It's about a historic 66-yard field goal, and it's about an incredible screw job. And whether or not really that should be a reviewable thing, Grizz. I mean, you almost wonder whether or not. I mean, you can go to the you can go to the replay for everything else. That wouldn't take very long. I mean, to me, that would be something where a guy watching upstairs would simply buzz down to the referee and stop the play and say zeros. And this crap about the back judge is watching the play clock, and then when it hits 0, he looks down to see if the ball is moved, and that slight moment in time. Well, come on. I mean, that's supposed to be like a fraction of a second. You're looking right over the ball. Well, maybe he can't see the ball because of the thing. Okay, fine. Then let it be a reviewable play. That game could literally put the Baltimore Ravens in the playoff. At the end of the season, if they got 11 or 12 wins, that could put them into the playoff. It could be that fast. I don't know. Do I got time for him, Grizz? All right, Jay, I'll give you 30 seconds, brother. What do you got?
Okay, I guess it's just a hot take. My condolences to the city of New York and the city of Chicago. All three of your teams really suck because of your coaches, but there's a magical dude that's on the Kansas City sidelines. He's the OC. His name is Eric Bieniemy. You might want to have a 10-round death match to see who can sign him to be their head coach first.
He might end up at USC. That's the thing.
He would be stupid to take that job.
Well, I mean, some people think it's the best job in Los Angeles, but I know what you're saying. But right now,
that job devours coaches.
Right. Yeah, it is a bit of a coach killer. Didn't hurt Pete Carroll, though. Thanks for the call, Jay. I appreciate you. Eric Bieniemy is going to get a shot. They need to start winning some games, though. I mean, they're 1-2. They're at the bottom of the AFC West. The Broncos at 3-0 will play nobody. And you've got the Raiders who are 3-0 and look good. So, who knows? He might be able to get the Chiefs job pretty soon. Andy Reid to the hospital. They called it dehydration. Andy Reid is 63. If I'm Eric Bieniemy, I hang around and say, Andy, how long are you going to go? Maybe he hangs in there. Tom Luginbill is next. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. ESPN's Brian Windhorst and Zach Lowe reporting Nets star Kyrie Irving won't attend today's media day at Barclays Center due to New York City's COVID-19 protocols. Pro athletes are required to show proof of at least one vaccine shot to practice or play in the city. Nets GM Sean Marks has said he expects the team to be in compliance when the season opens next month. Ahead of Tom Brady's much-anticipated return to Foxborough Sunday night, Patriots coach Bill Belichick weighed in on his former quarterback on WEEI today. Belichick said Brady's a great player, and he's not surprised at all by his success his first year in Tampa Bay in leading the Buccaneers to a Super Bowl championship. When asked why Brady still isn't with New England, Belichick said Tom looked at his options, made a decision, and the Patriots weren't as good an option as Tampa. Monday Night Football tonight, Eagles-Cowboys, 8:15 Eastern, ESPN TV and ESPN2.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Listen to me weekly on The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Roll Tide.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Tom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Tom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Tom Abraham Show. Each and every week at the top of the 11 o'clock hour, Tom Luginbill is brought to us by our good friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Luke's does a great job, of course, for ESPN. Been on a bunch of those ABC noon Eastern time kickoff games, including the one between Texas and Texas Tech, and I think Texas would, a significant favorite in that game. I don't think anybody figured they'd score 70. Won that thing 70-35, and he'll get them again this week as Texas will play TCU. Of course, a bunch of big games in the SEC and other parts of the country. Really, this is the first real solid weekend of games. I mean, there's intrigue with Michigan and Wisconsin, intrigue with Cincinnati and Notre Dame, and, of course, the games in the SEC, the games that are going on all around the country as well. So Luke joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Tom, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. The Big 12 is back, right? 1,150 yards, I think, worth of offense and no defense in the game that you had. How much of this is a reflection on Texas, and how much of this is a reflection on Texas Tech's lack of defense?
It's interesting because going into the matchup, if you watched Texas the first few weeks, they were just atrocious in the offensive line. I mean, just downright awful. And then it makes you realize that not only is Arkansas pretty legit, they might be really legit because the offensive line for Texas on Saturday completely owned every aspect of the game. And Texas Tech had been playing pretty good defense coming into the game. They just flat out didn't compete. I mean, it really just kind of quit, to be honest with you. So, now we're going to see if Texas can actually deal with some success. And that's been a program that's had a difficult time when they start to get on a run or maybe they start playing well and people are talking about them, they lay an egg. And I think that's Sark's biggest challenge with this program is getting them to play well each and every week.
Well, and with, some contenders falling by the wayside. I mean, Clemson's out of the picture now, and you look at, Ohio State's been sketchy, and maybe Penn State replaces them out of the Big Ten. But with some of the contenders that are kind of falling by the wayside, it makes you wonder now, and Oklahoma not being as dominant as a lot of people thought, if Texas can win that Oklahoma game, can they literally work their way back into potentially a playoff-type team? They lost to Arkansas. Look at Arkansas now. I mean, they're 4-0, and they got a red ass for the state of Texas, apparently. I mean, they took out A&M and the Longhorns. Can Texas literally play their way back into this thing?
They could, but again, they have to get on a hot streak and be able to handle and be mature enough to have people talk about them in that fashion without screwing it up. And they haven't been able to do that. You saw it off of the Sugar Bowl and the win versus Georgia. They go in the offseason, and everybody's saying, Tom Herman in Texas, they finally got him back, and they lay an egg. And so, to me, if somehow Sark gets that team hot, because offensively they're good enough. Defensively, they still have a ways to go. And they can't take a step back. They have to keep getting better and better and better. And if they do get hot, Tom, I'll say this, because I've seen Oklahoma, they'll beat Oklahoma. They're better than Oklahoma. Oklahoma is not very good right now in the offensive line. They can't run the ball, and it takes away from their play-action pass game, and that's not who Oklahoma wants to be. So, yeah, to answer your question, the way the season's played out so far, what we're seeing, guys, Iowa's the fifth-ranked team in the country with that offense. They are horrible on offense. So, I look at Arkansas, I look at Ole Miss, I look at Texas. I look at a bunch of different teams, Florida right now, that could all be in the discussion come season's end.
Yeah, I like Penn State better than Iowa. Iowa's getting a lot of love at the 4-hole and Penn State at the 5-hole. And, so a lot of this will play itself out. The thing with Texas and Oklahoma, it doesn't seem like there's any resistance. Maybe Oklahoma State is a problem. I don't know. Iowa State has turned out not to be all of that. West Virginia gave Oklahoma a run for the money. But it almost is like those two teams are going to meet again in the Big 12 championship game. They can. I don't know, can either one of them at 12-1 be a representative out of the Big 12, or because you're going to have to beat Oklahoma twice. If you're Oklahoma, you're going to have to beat Texas twice, or they split those two games, and the last one's the most important one.
Right. And again, the way the season's playing out right now, this is what makes college football, maybe in this particular year, greater than we've seen in recent years, because nobody knows week to week what's going to happen. You just came on air and we're talking about, a weekend slate of games that looked really, really good. But in the last 2 to 3 weeks where it looks like we weren't going to have great games, we had upsets, we had weird outcomes. We're starting to see that, it's no longer just Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and then just pick a random 14. Now all of a sudden Ohio State and Clemson don't really look like they're in the mix, all right? And anybody else could go up there. So I think it gives life to the Big 12, whether you're a one-loss champ. So the Pac-12 right now has got to be loving this, but do you trust anybody out of that conference to not screw it up? It's so competitively balanced top to bottom that any given week Oregon can go down. Any given week UCLA can go down. Arizona State went down 2 weeks ago to BYU. So if there was a year for it to happen for the Big 12 or the Pac-12, it might be this year.
What am I looking at with Oregon? I mean, when they beat Fresno State 31-24, it felt like, oh, God, that's not a very good win. And now Fresno State looks like a thing, and maybe that isn't a bad win on opening weekend. Then they beat Ohio State. You don't know how good a win that is. That's still a good win. You go to a horseshoe, you win. That's a good win. Stony Brook and in Arizona. What am I looking at with this Oregon Ducks team? How good are they? Because people are moving them up, and now they're mostly third in the polls, in terms of where they stand in terms of this whole mix.
And you popped out for a second on the team you were saying.
Oregon. I was what am I looking at with Oregon? Yeah, how good are they?
Yeah. Listen, I think they are good enough. I don't know if they're good enough at quarterback. I think Anthony Brown gives them a chance. I'm not saying he's a guy that you win in spite of as opposed to because of, but I'm not sold there. And if we're going to talk about championship level play, you have to have a Matt Corral. You have to have a Bryce Young. You have to have a Trevor Lawrence, a Justin Fields. And I don't know if he's in that category. Now, that might be enough in the Pac-12, but I don't trust those teams in that conference each and every week. Again, there's not enough. There's not enough of a gap between Oregon and everywhere else to feel confident that Oregon should win that conference outright. At least there's not to me. Whereas when you look at, let's just say at Georgia right now or in Alabama right now, they're just flat out better than other people. All right, I don't feel that way about Oregon in relation to their other members of the conference.
And speaking of Oregon, you got to talk about Mario Cristobal and the job that he has done. You got Pac-12 roots. Is the USC job a better job than the Oregon job? With all the money and the Nike and all that other kind of stuff up in Oregon, is the USC job still a better job? Could a guy go from Oregon to USC?
Absolutely, it's a better job. Now, when I say that, it's a better job potentially. Right now, the Oregon job may be a better job, but it's not a better job for getting you to the college football playoff, and it's not a better job for owning the state of California. You can dip in and steal from California, but you're not going to own it at Oregon. When you bring up Mario Cristobal and USC, I think it's the only answer out there right now. And on top of that, what we've got to understand, and Mario Cristobal is probably going to use it as a contract leverage opportunity, and I would if I was him as well. But you've also got to understand the cost of living gap
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to pony up $10, $12 million for somebody, and then on top of it, you're going to have to pony up a huge pool for assistant coaches' salaries unless you want them an hour and a half away from campus for a commute because they can't afford to live close by. And so there's other factors at play here, but I've said it from the get-go. Right now, that job needs a recruiter first, coach second. They need a tireless grinder that is an elite player evaluator that is going to go out and outwork everybody in the conference and make SC the place that California kids will not leave. Because, listen, for the last however many years USC's been playing football, you can talk to any old Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12 coach. If there was a great player on the West Coast and USC wanted him, he was going to USC. And it was everybody else's job to figure out a way to compete against that. That's not the case any longer. If it becomes the case again, then SC is an instant college football playoff contender. And I don't know if residing in Eugene, Oregon, you can say that about Oregon every year. You could say that about SC every year.
Yeah. Well, of course, famously, Tua Tagovailoa was originally slated to go to USC, ended up not going there. Bryce Young. Bryce Young, right there, and he ends up heading to Alabama. Not that the Slovis kid is bad. I mean, he's a pretty good little quarterback as well, but I don't know if he would be what Bryce Young has been. Tom Luginbill with us here. So you're saying that Mario Cristobal would be a better choice than Deion Sanders as the head coach at USC? Because there's a movement afoot that Deion Sanders should be considered for the USC job. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know how much that movement is gaining traction.
I don't know. We'll have to see how that all works out. Is Notre Dame in a position to become a thing again? If they beat Cincinnati at home, and I haven't been overly impressed with Cincinnati. You saw them up close and personal, but they get Cincinnati. Every single team that they play apparently is coming off of a bye, so there's that. But Cincinnati, at Vatech, USC, North Carolina, still got, and then it kind of eases up a little bit down the stretch with Navy, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Stanford. But no championship game. While all this carnage is going on, is Notre Dame in a position to work itself back into the mix, and does it have to be 12-0 to be considered?
I think it would have to be 12-0 to be considered because I don't believe they're the team that they've been the last couple of years up front on either side of the ball. I think they're a good team, just as I saw with Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's a good team. Are they a top 10 football team as a roster? I don't believe they are. In fact, it's interesting that you asked this question because if you look at a lot of the deficiencies that teams are having right now across the landscape of college football, it all starts up front in the offensive line. Clemson, Notre Dame, Cincinnati is very average in the offensive line. We saw what happened with Florida and Alabama in the third quarter. I mean, Alabama was really struggling in the offensive line. Texas A&M's not playing well in the offensive line. We've seen Texas look poor there as well. So, to me, could Notre Dame play back in? Yes. I do think they would have to be 12-0. It's not as if Notre Dame's ever been flashy, but they're really not flashy this year. You got Kyron Williams, you've got the tight end and Michael Mayer, but the one thing that Notre Dame, in my opinion, is lacking that could really get them over the hump because they've made strides in their defensive front. 10 years ago, I would have told you they don't got enough dudes up front on defense. They've gotten better there. They need to somehow get a Devontae Smith, okay, or a Chris Olave or a Garrett Wilson, one of those types of difference-maker perimeter players on offense. That's the one thing that I think they're lacking that could really help push them and make them more dynamic offensively, make them more attractive to the committee, too.
Some people, your own ESPN's FPI has now moved Georgia ahead of Alabama. I'm not sure how the numbers work on all of that thing, but with Clemson taking their second loss, that 10-3 win against Clemson doesn't feel as significant. It's a good win, there's no doubt about it. They beat UAB, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt in a game where they had a running clock in the fourth quarter, which to me is enough to get Vanderbilt out of the SEC. I mean, that is the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard of, a running clock in